Hello again. Sorry it's been a little while since I've put up a video, but I've been quite busy. I should have some time here the next few days though. So in this video what I wanted to do is go over, describe several locations of past videos that I've done. I'm going to talk about 8 locations in total. And I'm only discussing locations I found on my own. These, as far as I know, are spots that no other local Sasquatch investigators know about unless I've already shared it with them. And I'm purposefully not sharing areas that other people have shared with me. In these areas, most of them are going to have structures. It's difficult to tell if it's done by Sasquatch or humans or both. And a lot of them you can tell they've been there a while. And I visit so many different areas, it's hard for me to tell, really no good way for me to know what the current activity may or may not be. There are some areas that are further out, and I've felt that it seems there's evidence clearly pointing to recent activity, and I'm not going to discuss those areas, so I've kind of limited it to this criteria. Okay, and here's the list right here of the different areas, and we'll get into those in just a second and go into Google Earth. I also want to mention that some upcoming videos in the pipe here, so I still have the Rob Robles interview 2, part 2. I've not done that one because partway through the video we kind of got off on the visual versus the audio. They were recorded separately, and so I have to figure that out. And even though I like interviews, they take me much longer to edit because I like to get out all the ums and uhs and even myself more than the interviewee sometimes. So that takes hours. So anyway, I do want to eventually get that one up. Then let's see, over here, that same area. Oh, I revisited an area that have 2 videos by these names, several structures revisited. I revisited it once again, and I did see that things have changed once again. It's probably been a year since I've been there, and I'm not going to reveal where this one is because it's shown to me. Actually, I found it on my own, but then I realized somebody else also was aware of it, and we'd agreed to not discuss that location really, at least on the internet. Okay, let's see, Sasquatch exploration. That video, that's a recent video, and I think that's the last one I posted. But I did another recon there before I took Mark along, actually the day before, I believe. Or maybe it's the weekend before. Yeah, it was the weekend before. And so I haven't posted that one yet. I visited a slightly different area. I thought the video with me and him was more interesting, but there's still some good stuff on this one. Then last winter, if anybody remembers, when we were doing some research and finding, there was a sighting in a city here called Provo, just from the neighborhood, looking up on the mountain, and they saw a very large figure. So we went out there and found the spot and kind of got up on the mountain there. But afterwards, Mark took us up kind of an area, Provo Canyon, a side area, showed us some structures up there. I haven't posted that part yet. I just haven't got around to it. I forgot about it, then I haven't got around to it. So that's still there. I'll probably post that this winter, a whole year late almost. But it's still an interesting video. Let's see. I've had recorded for a while camping gear specifically for overnight and cold weather. Still a bit lightweight for hiking in. The reason to hang up on that one is I didn't like the audio on it, and I was going to do a voiceover and haven't got around to that yet. Then probably should do some more impersonations. Sometimes I get positive and negative feedback from those type of things, and I'll get more positive feedback, but also get more negative. Luckily, most of the negative feedback is just thumbs down, but I noticeably get more emotions from people on that when I'm doing impersonations of other researchers. Let's see, and then I've also, quite a while ago, I got a brief email reply from Dr. Meldrum. I think I might have mentioned it before, and thought I'd discuss that. My hesitation on that is I don't want to make it sound like I'm being critical of him, the hang up on that one. I think I might do this one. I've thought about it, just go live and do a live stream, just so I have something to talk about that's kind of interesting. And but the only drawback is I won't be able to edit what I'm saying. I want to make sure I'm least a little bit careful, since what he was saying was, he's basically against structures. He doesn't see what the big deal is, and thinks it's all deadfall or human activity, and so I'd have to talk about that kind of basically. So anyway, that's pretty much the lineup for the video. So let's get into this one here. First area is a place the name of the video was a second Hamon Gog structure, and I'm just going to go to that here in YouTube. I'm hoping my computer will hold up because I'm recording this on the computer, and I have Google Earth running, and then I have the browser running, and they're both hogs. All three of those are, RAM hogs. So that's why I only have one tab here open. I tried to have all of them open, all the 8 different ones, and it just didn't work. So this is the first video. We'll be just showing on the map here where this was located. If you see this boulder here, it's actually almost 10 feet tall. It looks like it's maybe a 4-foot boulder, but it's much larger. And this is a really nice structure, a very pretty area of pines, and this is granite. So there's a granite outcropping. Most of the rocks in Utah are gray limestone, but there is an area, it's kind of a granite area between Salt Lake and Provo, kind of to the west or the east, excuse me, in the mountains there. Okay, let's zoom in. So here we are. This is Provo, this is Salt Lake, like I was just talking about those cities. And zooming in, you should have Alpine here. Here we go, Alpine is right over here. And it's right up in here. If anybody who's going out there, obviously this will mainly be Utahns, unless you're somehow travel all the way out here, but it'll be up to you to look into the hiking routes to get up here. But this is basically the route you take. It's kind of a torturous route. There's something called first Hamon Gog and then second Hamon Gog, which I guess is supposed to mean another word for a clearing or a meadow. But the second Hamon Gog is right there, this clearing right there. And the structure itself is tucked away in the forest right over here. It's not that far from a trail really. So it's, if it's still there, it's fairly noticeable. You just have to look around. Okay, so that's that one. And then I'll just keep recording here. Let's pull up the next one here if I can. Elk Ridge structure. I'm going to have to go back to my list here of the different videos. It'll take a little longer this way without them all the tabs open. So this was a really nice structure. It's near the town of Elk Ridge, and I gave that much information, but I'm going to be a little more specific here again on the map itself. Just a lot of these I've never shown anybody in person. I don't think people are interested enough to have me take them out there. I'm not maybe the most interesting host, but I thought I'm not, quitting Sasquatching altogether, but, I don't know when I'll get back to these areas, and there's so many of them, and might as well. Again, I don't even know if these structures are still there. I mean, for instance, this one was posted, maybe a couple of years ago. Let me see what it says here. Yep, it's a couple of years ago. Over a couple of years ago. But this one, let's go to this one now. You can see the structure there. It's about 10 feet total. The entrance there is about 6 feet. And I'll go ahead and go to the map here. So far, so good. The RAM is holding up, the video card, etc. I mainly just use this computer for browsing the internet, so its RAM isn't anything really special. Okay, so this one is further south, the south end of Utah County, and you have Elk Ridge is right there, and it's up in the kind of foothills, leading up to the foothills down here. So you kind of take this road, if I remember right, you go up here, and I was actually going up into here, and I started, side note, I was hiking up into here, and one of these draws, I ran into a little cinnamon color black bear, and that was interesting. But anyway, it's either, I'm pretty sure it's this road right here. you dip down into this area that goes down, and it's right at the bottom of that where you can't see it from up here and you can't see it from over here. I'm pretty sure that's it. I guess it could be over here or over here, but I think this is the one. Anyway, that's that one. We'll go to the next one here. Grove Creek Canyon, Pleasant Grove. So that one is a recent video. It's the one entitled Sasquatch Shangri-La. And let's see, further back than I thought. It's already 6 months ago. Let's open that one. I guess I don't have to, well, I might as well go to it. You can see it a little better. Okay, and that's the most involved structure we found there, was right along the creek, which is called Grove Creek, apparently. You have to go to the north end of Utah County for this one. So this is Grove Creek right here. It's in between, well, you have Dry Creek down here, or Dry Canyon, I believe. And you have Battle Creek, and then this is Grove Creek right here. And it's, so there's a hike that goes up the side of the mountain there, and then it's up here somewhere right along the creek. The creek kind of comes right along here, and somewhere along here we found that structure. And there's other breaks and things. There's a, if I could see it, there's a pond up here, which is very difficult to find because, unless you have GPS, because it kind of drops down like almost a sinkhole kind of. But I don't think it's a sinkhole, but it's kind of drops off steep, and it's down there. Well, I can't even see it. Even on the map, it's kind of hard to see because of the color of it. And we tried to visit that. We didn't successfully really get that right down to it. We kind of got off track and thought we were working back around to it, but apparently we missed it. But anyway, right along the creek is the structure. You can see in the video. Well, I'm not seeing the pond. That'd be another place interesting to explore again. Oops. Well, you can take, probably nobody will take time to look for it there, but it's somewhere around here, if memory serves right. Anyway, I don't want to waste all your time, so actually let me pause this here. Okay, I thought I would pause to find the pond, and there it is right there. You can see it's almost the same color as everything else. Lucky I found it, but you zoom out, that's where it is right there. But along the creek here would be the structure, as I said earlier. The next one here, above Bear Canyon, which is between Loafer and Payson Canyons. So this is the one entitled Land Between Lands, and the reason I call it that is because it's between Loafer and Payson Canyons, and it's some high ground in between them. Let's pull that up here. And I have a part 2 and a part 1 on that video. So here's part 2 and here's part 1. I'll just open part 1. This is one structure that was kind of up in the woods there, and there's some other things, but I'll just, while that's loading, I'll go ahead and go to them. This is the southern end of the county again. So this one might be a little more difficult to find. Let's see as far as on the map, because it's, let's see, where's Payson? Oh, there we go. So we go up Payson Canyon, and then we have this kind of reservoir here. Let me crop or skew this a little bit. So the best way to approach this one is across from this camp here, you have some parking, and then you do have some hiking paths and bike paths. Park there and then come back up this way, and then eventually you get to the reservoir, and then you come up this way. And then I hiked up to this clearing right here. There were some like a little wall almost back up here. There was a hunting blind right there, but it was probably an actual human hunter blind. And right up here on the mountainside is what this is right here. And I'm not sure if it's an optical illusion or not. But when I go up there, it looks like it's actually a huge trident, and then there's another tree kind of leaning into it. But it's really impressive when you go right up there. It's very tall and stands right out. But I mean, if you're not looking for the Sasquatch or the significance of tree structures, it's perfectly in plain sight, but perfectly hidden if that's not part of your lingo to figure out what that might be signifying, or what might be the origin of it. So then I went further up here. There's another clearing up here, but I went along kind of the ridge here, and I kind of heard some things that sounded that were moving the rocks, like it was kind of falling along me or something. But I wanted to get on top of here, but I have not done that yet. Initially, I was trying to go up here, and there's a place right over here that I was interested in up here, but I got too interested with it over here, and I never got over to here. And so anyway, that's another. There's some on the map. If I were to zoom in, there's some interesting kind of wood creations going on. I'd have to take me a little while to find it though. Maybe it's a little higher up even. Okay, next one. That was that one. And then near Grotto, there's a place called Grotto Falls, Payson Canyon. And unfortunately, in Payson Canyon, there was a large fire. Anybody locally knows that. The Grotto Falls, right around there, quite a bit was burned up. So I don't even know if that structure's there anymore. Chances are it may not be. But I'll just point it out here just for, I think I entitled this one Rickety Structure or something like that because it was just that. It was rickety. There we go. Weird Rickety Structure 6/3/2017. While that's loading, I'll go ahead and again, this is South County. Not far from the last one, so if we were to go a little further up Payson Canyon. It's not that far up Payson Canyon though. Let's see. In fact, let's type in Grotto Falls. Grotto Falls Trail. Okay, there we go. So that gives me some reference. So you have Grotto Falls. The trail that I found this one on is the next trail up. It's kind of a mountain bike path that goes up. They call it Benny Creek Trail. And it comes out the other side all the way over. And it cuts right through to the other side here. But on that one, I'm not sure exactly where on this one, unfortunately, but it's not that far up the path. Let's see, there's a lower one and a higher one. I believe pretty sure it's the higher one. I can't remember actually. Yeah, I think it is the higher one. You go along and on the right hand side, you look off at some point. You can kind of see it a little bit. There's a clearing. Looks like a side path, perpendicular, and so a clearing back there. There's that weird rickety structure, and if you're paying attention, you may see it. And that's kind of what it looks like. You can look in the video if you want to get better detail, but that gives you some idea. Okay, next one here. Payson Kiwanis Park Structure. There are other Sasquatch researchers or investigators that know about that one in the area here. I think I was the first one to post it though, I'm almost certain, and the first one to probably maybe visit it. But that one, let me go to that one now. It's a really interesting structure, and let's see. Part of it's kind of dug out. Okay, so this one is that structure, New Payson Canyon structure. And then I have a revisit of it here as well. There it is, right there, Revisiting a Structure, it's entitled. But this is the original. Okay, so that's kind of the front of it, and there's the back of it. This one, let me see if I can try some views of it. Some people were thinking, well, it's a dogman structure because there's so much dug out in that one. So this is the kind of the rear of it. It's quite large. Then you have that kind of teepee area in front, and then you have this in the back. You kind of have a corridor that goes to kind of a circular area room back there. So let's go to that one now. Again, this is this was not very far at Payson Canyon, and again, it's not that far out there. It's okay, so that's the Kiwanis Park. What you do, you just go to the other side of the creek there, and then you follow the power lines, and then it'll be right along here somewhere. You have that structure, and that's pretty much it. It's you have to kind of look around. There's some fossils, fossil shells up and over on this side over here, but anyway, I don't know exactly where it is on the map. I can find it definitely in person, but just a side note there. Okay, let's see. Hilltop wallow and tree arrangements northwest and southeast of Salamander Lake. This is far up Payson Canyon. This is almost to Mount Nebo. I'll just take you there now since I'm already almost at Payson Canyon. So here's Mount Nebo. You go basically 20 miles up the canyon if you're coming from the north. Zoom in here. There we go. So there's Salamander Lake. There don't seem to be any structure, much sign there, although it is way out there. So the hilltop area, I'm not going to give the exact area. You could zoom in yourself, but it's basically around here. There's a lot of down timber, and the fire didn't reach this far south, but there's a lot of really rough terrain. This drops way down and just really tough to navigate through. Some of the toughest terrain in the Wasatch that I've had to navigate through. It's as bad as the Uintas. Uintas has tons of down timber and things. Then the other area that's southeast, that was the northwest, is let's give you some better perspective here. So there's the lake right over here. I went on over to here, and a lot of down timber here. It's a really interesting area. It looks like some of it has been moved around, but naturally it looks like there is just a lot from probably snowfall and things of that nature. This one is entitled Foreboding Forest, I believe, or something to that effect. And I'll show the video in a minute, I guess. And then down here, one entitled, I believe, is Payson Canyon Sasquatch Blitz or something like that, where I was unable to hook up with Rio and some others. I took my cousin down in here, and that's where we found some things as well. The day prior, I reconned it and heard some very weird vocalizations. Could have been humans. That's the very first video I ever posted on this channel, so you can look at that if you'd like. But those areas are the most, I would say, some of the most remote, rough terrain that I've been in the Wasatch. Let's go down here. Preliminary Sasquatch Train Search and Utah Sasquatch Blitz Payson Canyon. So those are the ones I was just talking about. The weird vocalizations on this one. It's the end of the video. Then the hilltop kind of wallow and lookout. And then over here, Foreboding Forest. This is the other side of the So this is basically it's higher elevation than Salamander Lake, and these two are lower elevation than it. And seem to be things in both areas. Nothing, as arranged as a shelter type structure, but lots of timber kind of moved around in weird, peculiar, configurations. This one had one that kind of you call a fortress, kind of just so many blocks and just things kind of laid around and strewn, but in kind of bundles. And anyway, so that's pretty much. Let me see if I missed anything here.